On July 7th, 2023, which is 777, there was a stabbing on the Toronto subway, which represents the underground train, the Silver Serpent. Now this happened around 12:30, which is 33, so 33, and it involved two men who got into an altercation on the subway, and there was a stabbing. It is a tragedy.
Arriving at Edmonton Station. Doors will open on the left.
First of all, what's not shown is there's about 30 seconds of this gentleman filming just this door. There's some sound of an argument, so perhaps he was recording it but didn't want to show their faces. And then the guy sitting here drops this cup, and this seems to be a bit of a trigger to start the whole altercation, and that's not shown. And then he pans the camera over so that he catches it on camera. And you can see that they're talking or arguing. And allegedly, according to the news, the reason it started was because he was complaining about noises on the other side. So this guy, I guess, was making noises that he didn't like. And so he got up and they got into an argument. And if that's the case, then why did this perpetrator, why did he come back and steal the black bag? And this guy is wearing a full, what looks like tracksuit, like track pants and a sweatshirt with a hoodie underneath. And this was on the Thursday, July 7th, and we were having a heat wave of 40 degrees with humidity. So I don't know why he was wearing such hot clothes on a very hot summer day. There was another person that you saw in the footage was wearing a full-on parka. And this happens right in front of this gentleman here who doesn't move. He doesn't get up. He doesn't leave. The red and the blue seats, most of the seats are red, so they chose this area specifically because it had the red and the blue seats for the duality. Now, this gentleman's wearing a white shirt and blue pants. He's representing the higher consciousness. This guy is black, wearing all dark colors, and he has gap on his shirt, representing the mind, the gap. And so they're fighting each other in the subway, underground, in the lower consciousness. Now you can see here that there's red on his shirt. So if I slowly show you what happened, so the camera pans away, so there's something we're not seeing, and you can't even see them in the reflection. So there's something we're not seeing. And then he pans back, and the man in white turns, which is when he's stabbed. So before this, you can see that there's something you can see that he has a knife. You can see it in his hands. So he must have had this knife early on in the fight, because he has it right here. So when did he have time to get it? It must have been in his pocket or something. There's a lot of discussion online about who started it, whose fault it is. There's discussion about him defending himself, and yet he took it to extremes by fighting him and chasing him down to the other end of the subway. So it's not self-defense anymore. There's a lot of talk about needing cell phone service on the underground, which the news has said that that's coming. So there's going to be ever-present internet service, which will allow people to report incidences like this, which leads into self-policing, pre-crime, and social credit system. So if you're being monitored all the time, and also citizen journalism, so that people document everything around them at all times. The moment when he gets stabbed is when he turns his back right here, and so he's stabbed in the back. So this guy is a backstabber, which is betrayal. And you can see the blood starting to come through on his shirt, and it's dropping on the floor. And nobody gets up to help him. Nobody says anything. People barely move. At this point, she moves, and she's the first to go, and the cameraman goes. But you can see the blood forming on the back of his shirt, and hardly anybody does anything. Hardly anybody says anything. Now they start to move, and then he comes running down the aisle, and the guy doesn't even get out of the way. And this man's running down the aisle with a knife in his hand, and they're not scared. They're not concerned. Now, it's possible that they don't know what's going on. So they run down to the far end of the train, and then this one lady comes running up the other side saying, he's stabbing him up. He's stabbing him up. He's killing him. He's killing him. So you can see here that they're still running, but at this point, she says that he's stabbing him up. So you can't see anything from this angle, but this is where she starts to say he's stabbing him up. So how does she know? She can't see him from there. They're still running. Nothing's happened yet. So she starts running. She starts moving. They all start moving. And she says they're stabbing him up. They're stabbing him up.
He's getting him. He's stabbing him up.
She's wearing red and blue. Red hat, blue outfit.
He's stabbing him up.
Most of the people on the train are women. There's blood on the floor on either side of this doorway portal. And then you see here This says Artsend, which is close to Ascend, and there's a dog, God. They're in the lower mind, which is the dog. And then they get out of the car, and he happens to still be filming, and he happens to catch the guy casually getting off the train with the backpack from the other guy, and he clocks the guy who's filming him, doesn't seem to care, and just keeps on walking. Okay, so what is this all about? This story is about betrayal, backstabber. It's about Judas and Jesus. This is from Matthew 26. Know that after 2 days is the feast of the Passover, and the Son of Man is betrayed to be crucified. The entire event takes place on the subway train, representing the passage from the underworld, or the cerebral spinal fluid traveling up the spine from the base. The man in blue and white represents Jesus, and the man in dark colors wearing the red, blue, green Gap shirt is Judas, which is Leo, the sun. Judas was one of the 12 signs of the zodiac. He went to the chief priests and asked them, "What will you give me if I deliver him to you?" Meaning Jesus. And they said that they would give him 30 pieces of silver. Here is a portrait of the event that happened featuring Judas and Jesus and the kiss. On his back is the backpack containing the 30 pieces of silver. Judas in the event also wore a backpack. During the Last Supper, Jesus sat down with the 12 disciples and said, "One of you will betray me." So Jesus knew about the betrayal. He offered his disciples bread as his body and wine as his blood, and then he said he wouldn't drink of the fruit of the vine until the day when he drinks it new with you in my Father's kingdom. So this will happen after the resurrection. I interpret this to mean that he will take no thought from the old mind, but only when he has been resurrected into the new mind of Christ consciousness will he take thought again. And then they went out to the Mount of Olives. The Mount of Olives are the olivary glands. All of you will be offended because of me this night, for it is written or scripted that I will smite the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock shall scatter abroad. So what happened? Nobody helped him. Everybody just ran. Let this cup pass from me. Watch and pray, that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. If this cup may not pass away from me, except that I drink it, thy will be done. Behold, the hour is at hand, and the Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of the sinners. Rise, let us be going. Behold, he is at hand that doth betray me. Jesus dropped the yellow cup, which triggered the start of the altercation. Allegedly, the event started because one guy didn't like the noise coming from the other guy. Noise represents thoughts of the lower mind. Judas, one of the 12, came, and with him a great multitude with swords and staves. So the Gap guy had a knife. They laid hands on Jesus and took him. Jesus said to the multitudes, "Are you coming out against a thief with swords and staves for to take me?" Then all the disciples forsook him and fled. So everyone turned against him. Nobody helped this guy, despite him screaming for help. This event started in the middle of the train, which represents the solar plexus where Jesus was first crucified. The event of Judas led directly to Jesus being arrested and sentenced to crucifixion. The man chased him to the other end of the train where he was stabbed more times and then taken to hospital in critical condition. He's now since stabilized. Gap guy is also a thief because he went back to steal the black bag from the other man, gold. Gap is mind the gap or meditation, the path to the middle mind. Jesus is the thoughts of the lower mind, man-made flesh. It is in meditation that the thoughts are betrayed and killed. It's also in Matthew 26 that they mention the Last Supper and the first day of the Feast of the Unleavened Bread, where the disciples ask Jesus where they prepare for the Passover. Now this is relevant because The precise time that this event is said to have taken place is 12:23 p.m. Exodus 12:23 refers again to the Feast of Unleavened Bread. And in this passage, they talk about blood on the doorway. When the Lord goes through the land to strike down the Egyptians, he will see the blood on the top and sides of the door frame and will pass over that doorway and will not permit the destroyer to enter your houses and strike you down. On the subway, there are no doors. However, what's closest to a door is the connector between the cars, and there is blood on either side of the doorway. So this is my decode of this event. Let me know what you see. If you like this video, please show your support for my channel. Like, share, subscribe, comment, contribute. Contributions over $15 will receive a link to the Johnny Depp Dark Shadows material, so please be sure to include your email address. Kindly visit my website, subscribe to my backup channels, join the Discord group. All links are in the description box below. Thanks for listening. Hope you're having a great day. Bye for now.